And welcome to this week's show where we are in Beverly Hills with Eddie Murphy as the Beverly Hills Cop. We've got a lot to get through, so let's crack on, and we start at the very top with a truck chase. So here we are, Beverly Hills Cop from 1984, and it's the truck chase, the first part. Axel hanging on in the back while Gary McClarty drives the truck. This is a truck, trailer and trailer, and in the back is Alan Oliney, who is doubling for Eddie. A lot of these police cars are all what's known as ND drivers, ND for nondescript stunt policemen, with some real Detroit police are in there as well to make the numbers up. There are one or two collisions here. There's a car here. I haven't been able to identify the drivers here, but there are a couple of drivers here. Here's an occasion. Bang! And there goes the car. Now look at the damage on the back of that. The front of this truck, by the way, has an I-beam, a stainless steel I-beam across the front. There's Alan disappearing out the back of the truck and hanging on for grim death. That wasn't really supposed to happen. That couldn't be rehearsed. It just kind of happened. Not something that he planned to do again, if the truth be known. But it's got an I-beam across the front of it, which is a massive stainless steel beam placed behind the bumper. And it's effectively a battering ram on wheels. Now here is Alan almost falling from the truck. He's got hold of this. The brake lights are on at the back, look. And then they go forward again, and he is thrown to the back and almost comes out of the truck itself. I mean, a really... God dear, I mean, proper dangerous stuff, but only on the basis that Gary, who's driving, he's had to brake sharply, then he's had to turn. And of course, maybe there wasn't radio communication in the back, I don't know. That's a possibility. We're coming in now with a taxi. Here on the left is Karen Werner, who's actually Gary's wife. In the middle, Harold Jones. And the lady on the right-hand side, I haven't really been able to identify, but I suspect it's either Peaches Jones or Julie Johnson. That's my prediction for the folks there at the side of the taxi. This, of course, is a very famous sequence and won a stunt award in 1986 for Gary. And Eddie Dono, who's going to turn up very shortly, driving a fruit-laden pickup truck. Coming up right here, and bang, drives into the back of that. And look at the way in which this thing is absolutely poleaxed and thrown across the street, with his vegetables being thrown all over the highway. Melon in there, banana, ice all over the place. I mean, it's very well stocked, very well laden. It would have been heavily laden, I suspect, to try and give the truck, not that it needed an additional advantage, but to really give it an option to shove it in the back and throw it to one side of the street. And Eddie is really a passenger. He's in there, he's waiting for that impact, but he's got to steer it so that it doesn't disappear into bystanders. Here, of course, is Gary also driving the bus. Very busy guy, Gary McClarty, on this. And this is the moment that, coming down the street here, you can see a crowd at the bottom of the street. Most of these are tethered. They're tethered to the floor and will move accordingly. This one here, bang, hits that, it slides across the front. Gary's got to then drive into it and just keep the scene going. If that hadn't have happened, they may have had to go back and redo that shot again. That wouldn't have been easy, and they were working a tight budget. They didn't really have the budget to afford an additional take. And here at the end, there's the blockade. He's got again, there's a lot of gear changing in chases, have you noticed? Coupling comes apart there, and then parked. There we go. And then who pops out but Gary McClarty pops out and decides to run away because the heat is on. Ugh. Being thrown out from the shop window, of course, is Alan Oliney, and he comes out in such a way. Normally you see people diving out. In this occasion, look, he's thrown out bodily, hands and heels, and almost comes out, almost lands on his face when he comes out, but is planted there. But he's an excellent double. The stunt guys would have doubled the other guys there, throwing him out. But that was huge, and that's, you know, sections of sections of real glass in the door, and that might be a toffee window. Here's the guys now trying to evade by jumping over the wall. Alan Oliney, Danny Costa doubling Judge Reinhold, and Danny Rogers doubling Johnny Ashton. And they are avoiding the machine gun fire of one Mick Rogers, who is standing there at the top of the stairs. And Axel says, "Cover me," and off he goes. And of course, there's the open fire, and you can see he's got knee pads on here. He will have back pads, elbow pads. Here's Eddie doing the first part of this. Eddie jumps from the top. This is Eddie Murphy jumping from the top to maybe the third or fourth step down, and then onto the floor, onto a mat. There will be a mat on the floor there. This next shot is Alan Oliney doing the landing. It looks slightly different landing, rolling, tucking, and then coming up into the firing position. That's his gymnastics background. There's Mick, and down goes Mick. Nice fall too when he comes down the stairs. Let's just take another look at it. The reaction shot, there's the squib going off there. The glasses, the reaction. He's got to drop that gun. That's a machine pistol. He wants to try and get rid of that because he doesn't want to land on it on the way down. And using that banister, got his right hand on the banister so he knows where that is. He can almost try and get his back into it. Try and tuck his head in so he's not going to clatter himself on the way down. Of course, he's got all his padding, his knees, his arms, his back. As he comes down here, and again, just pushing against the side of that railing to keep him straight and onto the floor. Lovely. I mean, it's a super shot. And of course, momentum. And momentum is absolutely the key to a successful stairfall. Once you go at the top, speed takes you all the way down to the bottom. Now, there are a number of other gunmen in the garden, and the lads are going to be aware of this very shortly, because in the garden is Lauren Janes and Gary McClarty, who have just opened fire. There they are at the top. Look, Lauren on the left, Gary McClarty on the right. And then inside the house, finally, Stephen Burkoff's death. Here, open fire, there's the shots. Down the stairs goes stuntman Kenny and Dosa. Blood squibs everywhere, a lot of blood, which means that his dispatch, again, down the stairs will be fairly quick. He's rolling down some of them, but will slide along a majority of them as well. You get further down, you see there's a lot of blood on his shirt, and of course now on the steps as he slides along. But done in such a way that isn't that apparent that Kenny obviously looks nothing like Stephen Burkoff. Stephen Burkoff, nobody looks like Stephen Burkoff. But that's the job of the double. Make the guy look good, and that's exactly what Kenny does. Well, there you go. That's it for this week, and I hope you enjoyed that. It's great fun. Now, next week, of course, we are breaking out the big guns. Next week, we have Commando, and you do not want to miss that. Till then, bye for now.